Good morning, people. It's Duncan with Free as an Eagle up at the A-frame. Very early in the morning. I happened to wake up about 4 after working up here yesterday and right till absolute dark, and it was quite an exhausting day. We were trying to set up our walkboard system for the other side of the roof. I'm going to take a walk down. I was just up here observing the sunrise over the mountain. Somewhere out here I was seeing the moon setting on the other side, but now the sun coming up. I don't think I'm going to be able to see the moon right now, but anyway, that was really cool. I came up here right about 7 and had gotten up at 4 since I was so tired. Last night I got home and literally just lay down to take a little cat nap, and I'd never woke up until like 1 in the morning, so an odd start to the day this morning, but very beautiful. So I just want to take a little time and do a walk around and kind of catch you up. It's been a very busy few days. We're really working hard to get this closed in before winter sets in, so I will do my best while letting the coffee set in to brief you on where we're at. It's been absolutely beautiful up here the last few days, so we've been getting a lot done. So Uncle Al, as my brother Al is affectionately known by family and my kids and all, is Uncle Al is the mastermind behind this walkboard system we used to do the roofing. So now we're on the left side of the A-frame, and yesterday Al was up here to help move we actually got this roofed. My son-in-law and Al and myself worked to get this dormer roofed up, get the roof on the right side done. So you can see a walkboard system in place up there that was used to reach the ridge. And now that they're at the ridge with that one, we actually, Al created a couple more of these pulley systems, so we're leaving those up there. And what's going to get interesting is I ordered some metal coil stock, which I'll show you later. It's instead of the thinner aluminum that's typically used for wrapping trim on a house on the outside. This is to make ridge caps, and because the ridge is a double 2x12 and it's thick, normal capping, and especially in wind in certain environments, regular capping and especially over ridge vent and various things don't allow the caps to be really well adhered, and in heavy wind they tend to tear off. So we're actually going to bend metal. Al's got a bending brake, although I think he's going to have to borrow one from somebody to bend the steel. It's quite stiff. And then we're going to make the ridge cap for the dormers and the main ridge out of the steel. We're going to bend it and make the cap so it'll go down over the roofing on the edges and be very weather tight and rugged, which goes along with our overkill theme that we're keeping with for this little build up here. So you can see we made good progress. We've got the roof coming up this side, and one thing I'll tell you about a build like this is it's sort of like taking on a life of its own. And I compare it to a mountain. You start climbing the mountain, and as you're climbing it, it gets taller and taller, so you're hope of getting there anytime soon. After a while you realize it's a completely unrealistic goal. So here we are, and we did the dormers. They were very cool, and I'm glad they're there. That's going to let a lot of beautiful light in. And then it occurred to me at one point, we've got this big expansive roof up here with no light coming in, and I'm like, we could put a skylight in there. So I decided to order a skylight. I was considering 2, but the typical skylights that are non-operating, that are just fixed panels you can get for like $300. If you want one that's manually openable, then it's got gaskets and a crank assembly and other goodies in it, and that jacks up the price to about double. So then you're looking at $600 or $700. If you want one that's motorized, then you're doubling that again. You can spend $3,000 or $4,000 on an operating skylight that's motorized or has solar power to it, and I'm kind of reaching a point where I'm going to be quite a bit of money into this build, so I'm trying to avoid frivolities and excess expenses. So when we go to furnish it, it's going to be a whole nother animal, which actually I'll show you. This is cool. I have neighbors that had a little portable sawmill. They just moved actually to a neighboring town and bought a house they were winterizing now, so they had milled with their bandsaw mill at this house next door a lot of my wood right off the property. This is all hard maple. It's beautiful, and this is just a start. They have a big pile over there. I just started to bring a few boards over yesterday, and I intend to make some rustic furniture and some live edge countertops for the kitchen out of some of this wood. So being that it's right off the property, it adds some special value to it. And it's going to be good, durable material. So that's a cool thing. So anyway, going back to the skylight talk, I decided to put a manually operatable skylight up here about a third of the way over from the dormer. That'll let some extra light get in upstairs, and it'll be accessible off a little balcony. I'm going to take a walk around the corner here, and okay, we'll get a close-up of this walkboard system while we're here. It's just too cool not to. Let me zoom back out a little bit because I'm close to the building. So anyway, you see we just put this 2x12. That was the only last rafter we had left from the project, which I'm glad we did. It makes a good working walkboard. But Al built these gizmos which slide up the roof, and he deliberately built some protection in so we don't tear up the roofing on the way up with this. So these go up to pulleys up on top. And there's 4 of them on this side with rope and pulley systems that are tied off down below to the house, so that when you raise it up, we'll go up about 5 feet at a time. We'll roof an area, then we'll loosen and move these up the roof sort of alternately so we're not straining anything. These sort of drag their way up the roof, and then they allow us, we'll put a ladder against this system and be able to access it and put roofing on it, and then we can just walk back and forth and attach the roofing to this. And typically we'll take an extension ladder section and we'll tie it in across these brackets. You see, these are basically to hold a railing, give us some level of protection, because it gets a little scary when you get to the top without that. But anyway, so yesterday we were here right until the only light was a moon. We had run out of time. It was dark, and we just pressed on because Al wasn't going to be able to come up today and work. So my son-in-law Rob will come up with me, and we'll keep going. And when we get up to a certain level, maybe 8 feet down from the top, we're going to install a skylight. So be another busy day. It'll be about 50, I think. It'll be actually a really pleasant day. Right now my fingers are getting very cold holding this phone, but I can endure a little bit of that. Anyway, I'm climbing around. It's a little steep right here. Oops, I'm sliding. It's a little hilly. I just want to give you a quick look. So this is the south end facing the rising sun, and I've been working on framing this. I framed in for the windows on the first level and then set some staging up. So the next step after this will be building another level and there'll be a lot of glass on this end. So framing in a couple of lower windows and a slider, and then there's going to be a lot of glass going up to the peak. And I kind of like this triangle theme. Every little peak's going to have a little triangular window in there to let in extra light and just look cool. So let me swing around. Oh, the sun's up now. Beautiful. I saw it rise over the mountain. Got some really cool pictures of it just sneaking through the trees. And now I will walk around to the other side since going in a circle. All right, so this is the side where the roof was done previously, and then Al had to turn these pulley gizmos around at the top so they now face the other way and allow us to pull things up that side. So it's very nice to see this part of the roof done, and it all settled down. We had enough warm weather for it to stick down and become happy. Then this is the other large dormer, which at this point I've got it framed, plywooded, and papered up to almost the triangle level. I just set up some staging up there to be able to finish that. So the nice thing is, yeah, the exterior parts are a little rustic, which I like. The Doug fir, the soffit wood was just stained pine, and then there will be a triangle window up in there. We're going to shrink that opening down a little bit, or that window would be intimidating to work with. And then we come around to the front, and the front actually driveway side is now pretty much framed in, plywooded, and when I cut out the upper windows to let some light in, I had that deck armor go across them and keeps the wind down, but then you don't get much light. So this is basically this end of the building, kind of the way it's going to look. There's going to be log siding going on this, which will be really pretty, I think. And then the little porch, eventually we're going to roof that, and then that roof peak will come in kind of above the door, up under those 2 windows in the middle, back down. I won't be able to do the same pitch and have windows both, so we decided to compromise on the pitch. It'll be a little lower, but it'll work. So that's where we're at right now. We're making progress. Very glad to see this happening, simply because the cold weather is closing in, and it's actually already here. It's pretty chilly right now. It'll warm up to about 50 later, and we'll be able to get this roofing going again. I'm hoping to wind up we'd probably wind it up entirely, but for the skylight, that'll probably burn an hour or two to get that hole cut out and get that skylight mounted, and then you got to roof your way around it. So that's the goal in the next few days, is to tie up this entire roof and do the ridge cap. When we get that metal up there and the roof's totally done, I'm going to take the whole crew out for dinner and drinks and relax and celebrate, because that'll be a big achievement. There's been a lot of work in that. I realize you take on these projects, and it seemed like it is a fun project, but you pour a good bit of your blood, sweat, and tears into it to get this thing done, and we're quite a ways off. But during the winter, I'm hoping to have a wood stove in there for heat and be able to work right through the winter, and by this, hopefully earlier next summer or fall, have the interior done. And then after that, during the summer, there's going to be quite a bit of landscaping to do. So that will be another project all of its own for next year. But right now we're working on the build, and that's very cool, learning a lot through this process. So anyway, I'll keep you posted. I think this is November 16th or 17th. It's Sunday, whatever day that is. So it's cranking along. We're not far from Thanksgiving now, so good to see it all coming together. So we'll be in touch. Have a good day, folks.